Here are 30 facts about the Amazing Digital Circus that you might not have heard of yet. Did you know there's actually a second version of the intro song which was actually sang by Kevin Temmer, who is the lead animator of the show, and we can hear that this version sounds like more of a 90s video game and its lyrics are also different from the one that we actually got.
You won't believe your eyes. Prepare for a surprise. Don't touch that door, there's so much more. You don't know what's in store. Watch out for the...
Gooseworks said that the way she came up with the names of the circus members is that she just came up with syllables, she put them together and googled them to make sure that they weren't slurs. And Pomni's name, either by accident or on purpose, actually means remember in Russian. And Kaufmo's name was originally meant to be Kaufman, which could be a reference to the surrealist screenwriter Charlie Kaufman. The end of episode 1, where every character is sitting at the table, is resembling The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, which is the scenery where Jesus Christ had the Last Supper with his disciples before he was inevitably sentenced to death. And according to Gooseworks, this shot wasn't intentional. So I guess that's something kind of interesting. Could this be God accidentally working through the Amazing Digital Circus? I hope so. The Amazing Digital Circus is the second glitch show that was created by a non-Australian showrunner next to Murder Drones. All the characters in the show are based on different types of entertainment, and Pomni is based on a jester, Kaufmo is based on a clown, Ragatha is based on ragdolls, Kinger is based on chess, Zubul is based on mix and match toys, Gangle on dramas, and Jack seems to be cartoons. So far, 5 episodes have been recorded by the voice actors, so we can guess that maybe animations are also done for 5 episodes, which kinda sounds ridiculous. If that's true, then how is episode 3 not released yet? Maybe they have to wait for some certain reasons, or maybe the lighting isn't perfect, because animation one way, yeah, that's cool, but to actually get everything to look realistic, that takes a lot of work. In episode 2, we could see that Gummigoo is the only character next to Pomni whose eyes change when they're stressing or panicking, because normally Gummigoo's eyes are solid white circles. However, when he was stressed, we could see his eyes change to rings, and Pomni's eyes turn into scribbles whenever she feels nervous. Apparently, Kane came up with his own name, which is an acronym for Creative Artificial Intelligence Networking Entity. According to Gooseworks, Gangle and the others were talking about compost at the end of the first episode when they were all having the Last Supper style dinner. In episode 1 and 2, we could see that when the circus members were swearing, they had this sensor which was apparently built by Kane. However, when Bubble was swearing in episode 2, his words were bleeped out but not censored with the bar. And so what I'm assuming is maybe he just said something that Kane didn't want them to hear and he wasn't actually cursing. Kinger is also the oldest circus member that we currently have, obviously except for Kane and Bubble. Oh wait, what about the NPCs? Maybe the NPCs could be even older than the circus members. We don't know if that's true. And Zubul is actually the youngest in terms of how recently she joined. The real youngest in age is Jax. It seems to be that Kane is only capable to fix people who are glitching. However, abstraction seems to be irreversible, so Kane can't help them. But we could see how he fixed both Pomni and Ragatha at the end of episode 1, and he sent Kaufmo down to the cellar where I'm guessing he keeps all the abstracted characters. In episode 2, there's a reference to the film Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where Jax says we're one tinker away from being Augustus Glooped. And this is when Augustus Gloop fell into the chocolate river in the film, so this could allow us to think that Jax spawned in the circus after 2005, after the movie was released, or this could just be a fourth wall break, which Jax did before the adventure when he looked at the camera and shrugged. Also in episode 2, when the chocolate fudge monster is talking about how he was banished from the kingdom by Princess Lulalalu, the circus members who are on top of the truck aren't animated at all. Zubul's room has a picture of her at the front where she looks different than she did in the pilot, and according to Gooseworks, this was intentional as they are constantly testing out new body parts. And as we know, Zubul will change her body parts in every episode because apparently she has a Zubul box in her room which has an infinite amount of pieces that she can choose from. In episode 1, where we can see the scene where Pomni opens up some doors looking for Kane, she stumbles upon a mannequin that sends a screaming mask towards her. And according to Gooseworks, this scene was added because she thought it was funny. And another thing is that this character's name is actually Dr. Football, and this is the only jump scare that we see in the series so far, which could be changed with episode 3 if that's focusing on the haunted mansion. mansion. Ragatha's original name was supposed to be Emmy, but later was changed to Ragatha, which could also be a reference to Raggedy Ann from the film A Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure, which apparently inspired Gooseworks a lot making the show, and this is also her favorite movie. Kaufmo was the only character that had a doorbell. If we look at the other circus members' doors, or even at the already abstracted members' doors, we don't see a single doorbell. But it was later said that they only did this to save time in trying to get out the episode quicker. In episode 2, we can see that the doorknob on Pomni's door is on the left side. However, in the pilot, we could see that it was on the right side. In episode 1, during the adventure, after Zubul managed to get free from the Gloink Queen's stomach, Kinger asks Zubul if she experienced a game show in there. And this is actually a reference to Gooseworks' other animation called Little Runmo. Alongside with Kane, it was Jax who broke down the fourth wall when in the pilot episode, Pomni is thinking out loud about how she's in a dream. Then Jax looks at the camera directly and says she still thinks this is a dream. And also in episode 2, after Zubul walks away, when she decides she's not going on the adventure, Jax looks directly in the camera and shrugs. After Pomni joined the circus, she couldn't remember her own name, and Kane then decided to try to help her by using his name generator. And at first, Pomni's given name would have been XDDKK, which is actually an inside joke between Gooseworks and her friends, and the name would have actually been DDKK, but Gooseworks added an extra X to make it even more difficult to pronounce. Jax and Zubul are both 22 years old, as Gooseworks once shared in a Tumblr post, but Zubul is actually 6 months older than Jax, which means that Jax is the youngest out of all the characters, and Kinger is the oldest, who is 48 years old. As we saw in episode 2, Gangle is capable of smiling while she has her sad mask on, so it could just be that it's a little bit harder for her to. According to Gooseworks, there will be no romance in the show. However, there are fan theories that one of the abstracted characters, Queenie, might have been Kinger's wife, based on their designs, because Kinger is a white chess piece and Queenie is a black chess piece, so that could have something to do with each other. For example, male and female are opposites, white and black are opposites, they're both chess pieces, it could actually mean something. And Gooseworks never really denied that they were husband and wife, but just said that there will be no romance in the show, so it's possible there was romance in the past. That is just some lore that we might not ever figure out. In episode 2, during the truck chase scene at 7 minutes and 12 seconds, right after Gummigoo changes the truck's gear into Rocky Road mode, Pomni is missing from the top of the truck, but she reappears in the next shot, but disappears again at 7 minutes and 19 seconds when Jax is looking at Gummigoo's truck driving away. The Amazing Digital Circus has 18 different dubs, with languages like Polish, Indonesian, and Arabic. Kane has a few different superpowers, like cyberspace lordship, where he almost has complete control of the circus and its members, except for the circus members' minds, and he can also teleport, where he can go to literally any place in the circus, just like how we saw him teleporting from having dinner with Bubble, to going to the void and saving Pomni, and then teleporting back into the tent. And he also has cartoon physics, where he's able to fly or make his eyeballs change shape, and as we saw in the trailer, he literally kicked his eye around like a soccer ball with his other eye. Pomni also has a rubber-like body. In episode 2, after Jax threw out from the vehicle, we could see her body stretched like a rubber band, and her legs then came in to show that she was stretching her body. And lastly, Michael Kovac, the voice actor of Jax, asked Gooseworks if Jax brushes his teeth because they're kinda yellow, to which Gooseworks replied, "There is no way Jax brushes his teeth, look at those things." But these were all the facts about the Amazing Digital Circus and its characters. Let me know what you think of them, or if you actually have some more facts, put them down in the comments. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and click on this video here.